Hey Jeff, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Steve, thanks for having me again.
Hey, we are again talking about DOGE and further moves towards the government potentially selling some of its office product. Um, the Department of Government Efficiency has targeted nearly 100 leases at government agency offices for termination or consolidation. We're told the Trump administration is also considering selling two-thirds of the federally owned office buildings that are empty or unused. A lot of this is hitting the Washington, D.C. area. The district faces the greatest number of possible closures, with 11 leases totaling 1.4 million square feet, according to some analysis done by Barclays. And also in the DC market, the vacancy rate there peaked at nearly 23% last year. It started to show some signs of stabilization, but a big wave of closures from federal government leases probably wouldn't be too helpful to the DC market. Some of your thoughts as we kind of continue to cover um, the moves from the government and potentially moving out of some of its office leases and office spaces.
Look, I think it will open up a lot of office, properties that were, probably should have been available years ago. Problem is, we're just, the administration's doing it all in one fell swoop right now instead of just kind of doing it over a period of time and letting them all go. So you are, initially gonna negatively impact that, that asset class and in that market. But I think the other side of this is you have to consider what the shape of the buildings are. Is there disrepair? Is there anything that's going to have to go into it? That square footage alone, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars and probably renovation work that needs to be completed. So you might get a little bit of a depression, and I hate to use that word in that particular asset class initially, but you might get a big boost in construction and the construction industry and people moving in and doing a lot of work to renovate those properties.
Yeah, and I think you kind of hit on this, but there's a few key points to really focus on is one, a lot of this is DC focused, right? There's certainly other markets that have government presences in them. But DC is the one that really stands out as being impacted. To your point, this we're not for the most part talking about great condition Class A product. We're not really talking about stuff that's directly going to impact that tier of the office market. So we are want to be specific to some metros like the DC metro here. We want to be specific to particular classes. And here we're really talking about stuff that's probably going to need some work that's not necessarily in the best of condition that potentially is going to be hitting the market. Um,
And sitting there vacant.
yeah, so I think this does have a market impact, but I think it's important not to overstate it. It's not impacting all metros. It's not impacting all classes. But it does, for one thing, it does change the calculus people had that you couldn't lose money betting on the DC real estate market. That calculus is now all of a sudden being reconsidered. And I think it kind of goes back to an old investing lesson that if you're not creating value, you should be a little bit worried. If you're investing office in a market that had a ton of empty offices on the assumption that the government would keep doing the stupid thing forever, um, that assumption might not work out for you.
At least not with this administration.
Yeah, so we'll see, but we'll keep an eye on Doge. We'll keep an eye on potential new leases and changes in government, and we'll also kind of pay attention to something you alluded to, conversion of office
Yeah.
product into other uses, something that we're going to continue seeing, as well as different metros. DC, not one that we're particularly active in for a bunch of reasons. We still like some of the metros in there, but we'll keep following this. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up us. Subscribe if you haven't. Give us some comments. Let us know what you'd like to hear more about. And visit our website, selectfincap.com. Get on our free newsletter to stay up to date in real estate news, as well as get a look at exclusive commercial real estate investment opportunities. Probably not in DC office product, but other opportunities out there. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Steve.